Hey everybody, happy Saturday.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, travelers? It's Eliz
And Eric.
from Means to Travel. Hope you guys are having a really great day so far, wherever you are. Hello to Mary Ellen, Lori Sims, good morning to you, and Mr. Means to Travel, good morning to you.
I'm here with my cup of joe.
Well, I have my cup of joe. Well, hopefully you guys are all having a great start to your weekend, and thank you for joining us as part of that. So we today, in a bit, are going to do a quick list about all the things that you should do or think about before going on a long road trip.
Yep, I think we're trying to bring back some of these more structured live streams going forward with more planned content.
We've been doing that each time.
Well, I haven't been prepared, so...
Derek's never prepared. I am.
I prepared the list this time.
Yeah,
so
Derek
I feel
prepared
very
the list.
good.
Yes, he crushed it this time. So we all get to listen to what Derek has to say, which is very exciting.
And I've got my winter cup, and I am ready to go.
Indeedy do.
So...
yeah, so I don't know who all else is on. Looks like Eric B is on. Travel Adventures with Eric B. Welcome.
What's up, Eric B? Those voodoo donuts in your video today looked delicious. And as I said in the comments, I am a fan of donuts as well. And anybody who's not, I don't trust. So.
I like donuts too. Hi, Scorpio Sue. Welcome.
Hello, Sue.
Yeah, so we... are probably going to get into our list in a bit, but we'll give it a little time for folks to join. And then, yeah, so we, I guess, can give you all a quick update on where we're at with our upcoming road trip. So,
Katie Smith is on. What's up, Katie Smith?
Hi, Katie.
Hello. Mary Ellen Dillon. We already said hi to you, but hi again.
So, we are still planning on going to southern Utah next
Utah!
month. Yep, next month.
It's just fun to say, guys. Utah.
And Q's Cruises are on too. Hi, guys.
Hey, what's up, guys?
You had a great live stream.
Yes, very, very good. In fact, your live stream is what made me think we should have a list before we start this. Because your guys' top 10 from New York was pretty cool.
Yeah, very long time ago, I would say probably early last summer when we did 2 live streams a week. We did a list of our top places to visit in New York City and in London, but we hadn't done a New York State focused one ever.
Yeah.
So that was super fun to hear because you guys live there. What your thoughts were on that?
Yeah, I mean we didn't get out of the city super often.
Yeah, we didn't have a car when we lived in Manhattan, and then we lived in Long Island City, Queens, and we were there for 8 years. So whenever we did do road trips, which happened occasionally, we would rent a car, but for some reason, renting a car in New York City, even at the airports, is crazy expensive.
Oh, I thought you were gonna... Okay. I was going more with it was just a bad experience because, if you didn't, right, one time we were going to Delaware, and we rented a car in Queens, and that meant that I had to drive through Manhattan, and that's just not fun, guys. Yeah. Not a big fan. Don't drive in New York if you can.
Yeah, I rented a car one time in Queens as well for a bachelorette trip, and I was driving a bunch of I hadn't driven in a year or so, and I was driving a bunch of girls through Manhattan in traffic. That was the most terrifying drive.
Yeah, Chicago's not as bad. New York's pretty bad. Yeah. So.
Well, Chicago's also you can find more affordable rental cars, and I don't know if it's just long weekend surge pricing or something, but if you rent a car in New York City when you're there for a long weekend, when all the other people we were are trying to get out of the city, man, it was $180 a day.
Yeah, it was pretty expensive.
And that was a very normal
price,
rate. Yeah. That's not the maximum that we saw. That was just the totally average. Hey, I want to go away for Labor Day weekend or something like that. So yeah, that was almost unachievable when it came to doing road trips for like long quick getaways.
Yeah, at that point it's cheaper to fly.
Anywhere,
lot of places,
yeah.
so.
It'd be like, oh, okay, well, for the two of us, we could go to DC by plane for half the price of renting a car for that long.
All right, but some more people have joined. So, hello to Troy Stansel. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining. Elwood, thanks for joining, Elwood.
Elwoods?
Not Elwoods, Elwood. Elwood Irvin. Thank you.
Oh, Elwood! Welcome, it's been a while. How's it going?
Liz just got really excited. She's like, Reese Witherspoon.
I'm sure he gets it all the time, and he's probably like,
I know,
I'm
he
leaving.
probably hates you right now a little bit.
Yeah. I just heard Derek wrong.
I hate you a little bit.
I
right
heard
now.
Derek wrong.
I love you though.
I got completely confused what he was saying, and then I finally saw what he was talking about in the chat.
Ronnie Dove is on. Morning, Ronnie. Hello. Welcome. Glad to have you all on here.
Yeah, welcome, Ronnie, Troy.
Karen Mack is on.
Hi, Karen. Welcome. So we kind of went over with everybody before, when we first started, that we have a big list of things to do before a big road trip, such as the one we're going to be embarking on in 2 weeks.
I don't know. Yeah, sure.
Like
I'm ready to go when you are.
early to mid-February. We're still figuring out.
Early Feb.
We're still figuring out the exact day of departure. So, but we do have an update since last we spoke with you guys. I think this would have been like a week and 2 days ago is when we had our last live stream.
Real quick, Kim M, hello as well.
Hi, Kim. Oh, and speaking of our live stream, so we have one more in January that is scheduled, and that's for this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So hopefully you guys can tune into that one. And we're hoping to keep some Thursday live streams in February, but we're still working through the calendar right now. And we really have appreciated all of you guys' feedback on whether these Saturday and Thursday times work for you. Yep. And keep giving us that feedback. We're willing to start experimenting with different times to get as many people in the chat and able to attend.
Yep.
But we're super grateful for all of you guys who are attending today. It's really, really cool. So,
my sock was inside out.
Oh, I hate when that happens. You got the seam touching your toe. It's the worst. Anyway, so...
It's real life, guys.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Let's just interject with that fun tidbit. Okay, so February live stream schedule is going to be announced later this week. We're just still finalizing it, and I'm going to be sending it out to a few social channels and stuff like that, just announcing it. So
she'll have it on the community section.
I'll put it on the community section
and,
on YouTube, like I did for January, and then also on Facebook and Twitter. And then I think there's also, I just kind of connected with a website that posts different live stream times as well. So it should be going up there too.
And for those who signed up for the mailing list, maybe we'll figure that out this month too.
Ooh, that would be intense. Yeah, you guys did request that, didn't you? I'm not making any promises. Maybe Derek will figure that out. That'd be cool. But that's not something that I've scheduled into my calendar to do. So, yeah, maybe I'll just send out a quick note that's completely unformatted to everybody and be like, "Hey, we're going live. Bye."
Oh man, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Okay, so we are also going to be on. So we're also playing with how many live streams I think we do in February. It's a shorter month,
and we're also going to be on the road a lot.
We'll be on the road for most of it, and we are going to be on for most of February.
Oh, we'll be away from home.
Yes. Okay. We will be traveling for most of it.
Yeah.
So we are also going to be on another live stream with Darian in February as well. So trying to work through everything and see where it all fits, but we will keep you guys up to date.
Yeah. So our live stream with Darian is at 7 p.m. Eastern time on February 20th, which is a Saturday. So hopefully you guys can tune in and see us goof around and talk about travel, and just enjoy the silliness that is our friendship with Darian.
I'm sure we will discuss spaghetti ice at that point. I don't know if we will have had it yet, but maybe.
Oh yeah, we still have to go.
We do.
We haven't been to Covington, Kentucky yet, which is where the spaghetti ice place is here in the Cincinnati area. We've just been like not. Well, today, after this live stream, we're going to be going down the Ohio River a little bit towards another town in the southern part of Indiana, close to where we are now. But we haven't gone into Ohio as much or Kentucky as much.
Yep.
But maybe we'll have to change that before we go. All right. So anyway, I wanted to share our update on what we're doing. So last we spoke, we were going to be doing kind of a longer road trip,
Yep.
and we were trying to figure. We have looked at so many different scenario plans for what that would look like, but then
At one point in time, I was jockeying that we drive the opposite direction to Savannah and then all the way across the South Pacific Road.
No,
thing.
not Pacific.
Yeah, it's called the South Pacific.
There's
road
no
trip.
way, really.
Because it goes all the way to San Diego.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that it was called that. I thought
Yeah.
it was called like Southern America or Southern USA.
Nope.
Anyway, so we're not doing that because I put the kibosh on that real quick. I was like, we're not going to Arizona by way of South
Savannah.
Carolina, and that's crazy. And I was trying to figure out if we could do like New Orleans along the way, but we had this opportunity come up where we are actually able to stay at an Airbnb in Tucson before we get to
Phoenix
Utah.
and Utah and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So we are going to be doing that now, and so we'll be there for quite a few days, and it'll be great because we get to see her family
Yes.
and hang out
Socially
in Tucson.
distance, hang out with my fam in the outdoors, which I haven't seen them in person in a very long time, so this is really meaningful to me.
And for those who have never been to Tucson, Tucson is gorgeous, awesome place, great food,
Yeah.
just
Apparently it
a
was, like,
fantastic place to visit.
Sunny and 75 this week. I mean,
Sounds pretty good.
that is the ideal sitch.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we're gonna be kind of booking it down to Tucson as a result. So we're doing far fewer stops along the way, trying to make our road trip time a little bit shorter than it initially had looked like. So we are still getting from point A to point B, but
But a lot more driving in single days. So we're probably going to break it up into like 10-hour days of driving and do it over maybe 3 days, something like that. So that's the plan. That's
Yes.
the plan. And Klaus is on. I don't know if we said hi yet.
Hi,
but
Klaus, and
what's up,
Darian's
Klaus?
on. Darian, I think you maybe just missed us talking about our live stream with you. That
Did
we're
we say
excited about.
spaghetti ice 3 times? We might have.
I think we did.
We did, yeah.
It worked. It's a magic trick. Yeah, who can argue with 75 and sunny? I totally agree, Mary Ellen. So, and this Airbnb opportunity,
It's too good to pass
yes,
up. So
way too good to
we're
pass up.
gonna go do that. There's tons of like outdoor spaces, which will be
Yeah.
really cool for us to film some stuff, maybe some
Yeah.
videos for y'all.
And so another reason why we haven't quite committed to a February calendar yet is because we're not 100% sure on what the Wi-Fi speeds are at this new Airbnb. So that we're hoping is going to get figured out today, and then that's going to be able to lead to whether or not we could live stream from there. So stay tuned. Hopefully we'll be able to get at least one a week on the books.
Yep. So, all right, I think we can get into it. I think we can get into,
Yeah.
road trip prep. So that is the theme of today is long road trips, specifically long road trips. Not like day trip, like drive 2 hours and that's it.
And as we get into this,
Big road trip.
let us know in the chat. There you go. Whether or not you are considering taking a road trip in 2021.
Yep.
And if you want to, share where it is or how long the journey would take you.
Yep. So right now we have 9 things, nine things that we would say you should probably do before a road trip. And we're going to get into those. We have them broken up into 2 broad buckets. The first one is vehicle related because, you can't do a road trip without something to drive on unless you're walking. And we ain't walking. So, what are we doing?
Biking.
Or biking.
Some
people bike.
do that.
Some people motorcycle. That's pretty cool
I wouldn't
too.
recommend doing that in early February. but some people,
Teach their
maybe
own.
if they're in Tucson.
Maybe you use oxen and do it Oregon Trail style. I don't know. But we drive. So what are our vehicle related things? The first thing is figure out what you're driving. Are you going to rent a car or are you going to take your own car? This is important for those who, might not want to put miles on their vehicle. Maybe you have one that, maybe your car just isn't up for a multi-thousand-mile road trip. Maybe it's a little old, so you want to look at a rental. Save yourself some hassle and, at the end of the day, money from a potential breakdown. So those are kind of some puts and takes on rental versus owned car. Also, it's nice not to, put those miles on a vehicle, because if you're looking at the depreciation curve on how much your vehicle is worth, the more miles on it, the less it's worth. So,
and
something to think about.
our vehicle, so we have a Toyota Highlander hybrid, and we bought it with a few more miles on it than, maybe would have been a regular use case and stuff. And so we're very wary of like thinking through when we use our car, even though it's only like 4 years old, but it just we bought it used with miles. I think it was like 36,000 miles already on it. So we're like, okay, well, if we put all of these extra miles on it, what is that going to look like?
Yeah. So that's the first thing, is figure out what you're driving, and all the rest basically are for if you're taking your own car. If you're renting a car, most of these are just going to be like, doesn't matter. But the first thing, if you're taking your own car, is make sure you do a full service oil change. For all of you manly dudes or mechanic women out there, if you want to do your own, that's cool too. But maybe make sure the fluids are all topped up in your car. Brake fluid, windshield wiper fluid, all that good stuff.
Tire rotation.
Tire rotation is important as well.
It says we're reconnected now.
Okay.
I think. Can you guys see us and hear us now?
Mary Ellen Dillon says tire rotation is important over and over. Oh no.
Okay, buffering for Katie too. Well, we're starting to get everybody's feedback, which means our internet's back. I think our internet actually went down because your stuff stopped too and everything, and my stuff stopped.
Well, I'm on cell. I'm not on the Wi-Fi.
Okay. Still.
Mine didn't stop.
Okay, well, I think the internet actually crashed here because it went down on my cell phone too.
Okay, guys, I will be right back. I'm gonna go make sure nobody's doing anything crazy upstairs.
What crazy things could they be doing? Okay, so hopefully, okay, Katie says we're back on now, so is my dad. Hello to my dad, by the way. Darlene Zacarias is back on now too. Great. Hopefully everything's good. Okay. Anyway, so I don't even remember where we were. I know we had just talked about like kind of getting your car serviced and stuff. So the next one, and I'll just jump right in while Derek's checking things upstairs. The next one is to make sure you have AAA, and if you don't have it, to get it. We don't actually have it because we just do so little driving, normally. When we're in Chicago, we're usually just within a couple miles distance from our house and stuff like that, and we know the local like dealership is in my phone, and like the dealership and the service place. So we basically are about to be new AAA members, which is going to be great. So we still have to sign up for that. I know that there's certain deals out there where you have to track those down. So yeah, I don't know if any of you guys have ever used AAA before. Let me know in the chat too if you have like AAA Save My Life stories, because I always love to hear those. Darian says, I finally did the blinker fluid prank last night with my daughter. LOL. She walked in the auto parts store and proudly asked for blinker fluid. Nice. I've seen a couple of those types of pranks. And I wonder if, did she get laughed at a little bit? Mary Ellen says I need to renew my AAA. Yeah. If you're going on a road trip, definitely. It can be extremely helpful. And like we learned our lesson when we were driving in the UK last fall and got the flat tire. We didn't have AAA, of course, because it was a rental car. But you just kind of, you never know what's going to happen, and you need to have that level of protection. Some cars, if you have like a new car, might have, what's it called? Like on demand. No, it's not on demand. Derek's not here to help me out. But basically, it's like there's like a little button in there if you need it that immediately calls somebody. What's that thing called where it's like not AAA, but a lot of cars have it?
No idea. Roadside assistance?
Sure. OnStar. Thanks, everybody.
There we go. OnStar.
Not on demand. OnStar. Thanks. Anyway, yeah, so.
What'd I miss?
You missed I did number 2. I said get AAA if you don't have it.
So that's number 3.
Well, that was number 2 on there. Oh, no. You made a separate list? There's 2 lists?
I put them on Post-it notes.
What? Okay. Now I'm just screwing everything up.
But that was number 3, and we were on number 3 anyway, so that's cool. Okay, so AAA or travel insurance or OnStar or whatever it is, make sure that you have a way for if you break down, you know who to call.
Yeah.
Because, and, you know, my mom actually pointed this out that her car insurance through State Farm actually has access to, like, nationwide towing. So that also might be a thing. Maybe you don't need AAA if you have State Farm. State Farm, if you want to sponsor us, let us know.
Yeah, or AAA.
Or AAA or OnStar
Actually,
or any of these people. Hey, give us money.
I saw that Kara and Nate, the YouTubers, when they did their Route 66 road trip, one of their sponsors was Audible, and I was like, oh, that would be epic.
That would be epic. The amount of money I've spent on Audible in the last 3 years is probably like $1,000, and Eliz
don't
hates
admit that out loud. That just makes me more upset.
If I could get any of that back, that would be awesome.
Derek is such an avid audiobook listener.
It's a problem, guys. All right. So take us
Shady
to
Hill Homestead.
number
Welcome.
4. Shady Hill, what's up? All right, number 4 on our list is make sure your car insurance and plates are up to date. So we actually just went through this because
he randomly thought about
I was
this.
just randomly like, when do our plates expire? Because we're about to go on a long road trip for a long time. And we realized that it would expire while we're in Utah. And we're like, that would be really unfortunate. So we actually went through the registration process early the other day. And we'll be getting our new stickers so we don't have to worry about getting pulled over with expired plates. Because that would ruin a road trip. That would not be fun.
I now know that they actually expire on my birthday, which is going to happen every single year, that they'll expire on my birthday. So that'll be an easy thing to remember. Like, oh, I need to get my license plate renewed. I'm another year older. But I think the reason why I didn't put that connection last year is because last year there was leap year.
See, this is going to be fun. Now I'm going to be telling her every day on her birthday. It's not happy birthday when she wakes up. It's happy new car registration day.
Which, like, sometimes my driver's license expires on my birthday, too. It's just a whole, like, basically the state of Illinois, I just need to have a conversation with on my birthday every year.
Alrighty. Do you want to do number 5?
Alrighty. Number 5 is, so this is just going to make the road trip so much more pleasant. If you have the time, clean out your car as much as possible. Maybe even get it detailed if it's in your budget before the trip, so that way you start with such a fresh, sparkling clean car, and it kind of keeps you motivated to keep it cleaner throughout the road trip too. At least for me, I don't know. Maybe if you have husbands and kids and stuff that drop.
Hey, wait a second, husbands!
Fries.
I don't drop French
no,
fries.
you're actually really good.
If I drop it, I pick it back up and I eat it.
Ew.
Waste not, want not, people.
Yucky.
5-second rule.
Hey Nick P, welcome.
And Mark Walters, who I guess says hi from Nick P. What's up, dude?
Hi. Wait, what?
He's in Champaign with
so
Mark.
Cool.
It's very awesome.
Hello Mark as well. it's just nice to like vacuum and use some wipes on the seats and just make sure everything's spick and span before. I mean, we're gonna like just to get out to Utah, for example, for us, it's like a 40-hour road trip. I mean, like 35 to 40 hours.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long drive. So
that's
you
a
don't
lot
want a
of
weird
car time.
stink. You know,
Yeah.
you don't want that weird like what is that old car smell? I don't know. Like you don't want that.
And it's so much harder to clean it once everything's in the car.
Yeah.
You know, like once everything's packed and all the people are in it and stuff, it's like, oh, let me take out everything.
Yeah. It's easier to keep a car clean than it is to clean it. So just get it clean so that on your trip it's easy.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all the vehicle-related stuff I have. If anybody has anything that we're missing, let us know so we don't, go off half-cocked on our road trip. But yeah, let us know if we're missing anything that has to do with the car, vehicle, or whatever.
Yeah, be our parents and be like, you guys forgot to do this.
Oh, check your spare tire. If you do have a spare tire in your car, make sure it's pumped up and stuff. That's a good one.
We do, right?
There we go. That's 6.
Do we have a spare tire?
I don't know. I've no.
Shoot, should we write this one down?
Just a second, guys. We're gonna make sure we know we have a spare tire.
Anyway, you want to start the second half of our list?
But first, let's go through the comments. Make sure we got everything. Yeah. So, Mary Ellen Dillon says I need to renew my AAA.
Yeah, I already read that one.
Okay, where have you read down to?
I think just that. And then OnStar.
Eric B says I used the towing on my insurance a few weeks ago. There we go.
I'm sorry to hear that, but hopefully it went all good.
Yeah. Darian is saying it was funny and even better. Grace thought it was funny, which made it awesome. LOL.
Yeah, so he pulled a prank on his daughter where he had her walk in and ask for blinker fluid.
That's awesome.
Speaking of, we need...
Blinker fluid?
No. We need that.
Eliz, go ask for blinker fluid.
No, we probably should double check that we have windshield wiper fluid. And
That's
stuff.
part of the full service oil change.
Okay,
we
great.
already talked about.
We ran out of windshield wiper fluid in
the UK, and that sucked.
Actually,
not good.
If the gallivanting gals are on, you need to know about this with a North Coast 500 road trip. So we ran out of windshield wiper fluid like halfway through the trip.
Yeah.
And there's really not a lot of stops along the way. So we ended up just kind of we have footage of this for whenever we post the travel vlogs for that. We get to it. We would use like big water bottles and fill them up and have them in the car so that way and like little
and I'd splash water on the windshield
and paper towels, and he would like maybe twice a day.
I would stop the car, do that.
Stop the car, throw it on. Yeah, wipe it. And we're just like, this is the most backwards thing. But
I felt like the guy at the stoplight who was like trying to wash your window when you stopped at a stoplight.
I didn't even film it at first, and then finally I'm like, the fact that we're doing this every single day, we've got to film this.
Just because I didn't want to go figure out how to like refill the... I'm sure it's super easy, and I was just being ornery, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure we could have refilled it, but we were also mostly in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
So it was
and
hard.
Mike Martinez, welcome, sir, and hello to Purdue as well. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome, Mike and Purdue.
Glad to have you guys on. So,
do you guys have a jack and tire iron? I think we have a toolkit.
Yeah, we definitely have a jack and tire iron. It's the question about whether or not we have a spare tire that we need to double check.
Yeah.
I think we do, but I don't know. Because I think we actually got it. I think that was like an add-on or something like that.
And we also have a first aid kit that I put in the car when we first got it.
That's actually a good point that I forgot to put on here, and because we just always have it in our car, is that we do have a first aid kit. A fairly like comprehensive first aid kit, including like sutures and things like that. Not that we necessarily know how to use those things, but YouTube.
Yeah. By the way, Purdue says he's tearing out his bath and renovating today. Bravo to you. Thanks for stopping in. We're just gonna give you some just a round of applause and encouragement from us.
Somebody's been watching HGTV.
Yeah, somebody's got the DIY network going. But
you should just set up a camera, dude, and film it and stream it. It'll be great.
People love those like demo days.
Demo days are the best.
I've never demoed anything, but it sounds like he's tearing stuff out today. So
yeah, very cool. Very, 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 very cool.
Good luck.
Okay, so
Lou's on. Hi, Lou.
What up, Lou?
Car navigation. We really prefer a Garmin GPS to a smartphone. Before we did our UK road trip, a lot of you guys said the same thing. So very, very cool. He says we pre-program numerous waypoints, hotels, natural parks,
national parks.
Yeah, relatives. I was reading them like, what? And I'm like, oh, like family members sites to see. Very cool. So we've been using Google Maps a lot, but when we went to the UK, because of all of you guys' similar comments like that, we ended up bringing Derek's parents' TomTom.
We didn't actually end up using it.
But that's only because we were extra super prepared with the Google Maps.
Yeah, we were pretty good with those and the Maps.me. So there was a few times when we were out there that we had issues with Google Maps because we didn't have reception or what have you, and so we were able to use Maps.me pretty easily to make up for that.
And there was two of us too, so like if you're driving by yourself, I could really see how a Garmin or a TomTom, whatever sat nav you prefer, I could see how that would be extra helpful.
But that's actually in our notes.
That
was actually going to be number 1 on things to do for planning your trip, which is plan the route, including any stops that you want to make along the way. So we are, like we had said before, we're going to be jamming a lot of drive time into each day of travel, getting from here to Tucson. And because of that, we're probably not going to have a ton of stops along the route, which is a little bit of a shame because the route that we're taking will likely take us through both Nashville and Memphis. And we love Nashville. We've both been to Nashville multiple times. And
I've actually only been once, but I love it.
I've been multiple times, and I love it. And it's kind of a shame we're not going to really be able to stop. But again, we're trying to limit interactions with other people during this time. So stopping in a major city, probably not on our list of things to do. Memphis, I've never been to Memphis. Have you?
No.
We've both never been to Memphis. And
I've watched all the Waltersville Memphis videos, though.
and talking about a city just rich in heritage, it'd be a place I really want to go to. So we're just going to drive through it this time, and maybe hopefully on the way back we can actually do something a little bit more substantial there. But no matter what, we will get there at some point in time in the future.
Absolutely. I do want to say we totally missed a couple comments about car stuff, so I don't want to get too far into the trip stuff because I just read it and I was like, oh my gosh, I skipped ahead too much. Okay, so after Troy asked if we had the tire iron and jack, then Lori Sim says check the head and tail lights and blinkers, which is totally true.
Yeah. Because you might need blinker fluid.
Might need to top up that blinker
That is
fluid.
my new favorite.
But yeah, so just making sure that all of your lights work because that's like the fastest way to get pulled over, be unsafe.
Yeah, the tail light out.
And you'd be surprised how many cars we've encountered on our UK trip and in the US so many cars that have like a brake light out or something like that. And it's
is that called a pediddle?
It's only that I think if the headlight is out. If the brake light's out, it becomes like I get a little anxiety driving behind somebody who has a brake light out just in case I like miss it, especially during the day where it's like a little bit less bright and everything.
Traveling Granny, welcome!
Hi, Traveling Granny, welcome to you. So we're just for anybody who's new, we're running through a list that we had created about things to do before a long road trip in order to prepare because we're going on a long road trip soon.
We're going to drive thousands of miles between Cincinnati, Ohio to Tucson, Arizona.
I think it's going to be about 27,000 miles.
100 miles.
Yeah, sorry.
We're just going back and forth and back and forth.
2,600 to 2,700. Oh my gosh, the entire globe is only 25,000 miles around. So that would have been an impressive road trip. Anyway, so yes, thank you to Derek for correcting me on that one, but it's still a long distance.
We're driving across the Pacific Ocean. just gonna keep going.
Yeah, so we're driving from Cincinnati area to Utah with a stop in southern Arizona in between.
Yep.
So we are prepping for this big road trip, and we love everybody's comments about what we're forgetting because honestly, we're just writing them down to make sure that we don't forget to do them.
Yes, and likely what this whole thing is going to become is this will end up actually becoming a standalone video that we do create on the lead up to our trip and launch. So you guys are we're crowdsourcing here, and make sure we don't forget things, guys. But yeah, so next we did have something about a halo.
Yeah. So you want to read what Mary Ellen wrote?
Mary Ellen Dillon says, I carry a halo that can jump the car and has a compressor for tire pressure.
That's really smart. We do not have even jumper cables in our car. And luckily we haven't needed them. But, you don't need them till you need them. So it's good to have them as a precaution. And I wonder if we should start looking into what that halo contraption is like, because it sounds like it can do multiple things.
And quickly, because Purdue is going to be leaving here soon, he does say, quickly before I go, I am seriously toying with the idea of buying a big high-roof van and traveling around and working remotely this year. #van life.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We have seen so many great YouTube videos like that, and I think that would be super cool. And the buying like a van versus buying an RV lets you have a little bit more mobility even. So, I mean, you have to decide what makes sense for you, and whatever, career you're in, if you can make that work on the road. So, but please keep us posted.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
Yeah.
That's not exactly what we're doing, because we're not going to be like
we
in a
watch
van.
These van videos and we're like, that looks incredible. But logistically, we just aren't sure that we can figure it out for ourselves. So, if you, oh my gosh, we also watched this one particular RV brand has like a smaller RV, but dang, is it expensive?
It's
but Derek and I are like,
but I want it so
beautiful.
Bad. It's a converted Sprinter van,
but it's slightly bigger, right?
Well, it's on a Sprinter van chassis, but it also pops out slightly, so it's pretty big. And it is. They have one that has like a Murphy bed, so instead of like a dedicated bed space, it's a Murphy bed. Which for me, I'm like, that's perfect, because then you have it up during the day and you have more like living space and everything. It seems perfect. Mm-hmm. So I'm just waiting for like 2 more years when like this newest model is like used and we can maybe buy one cheaper.
Yeah, because cool. I want to say it was like $200,000 or something. Like Derek and I have very expensive RV taste.
Clearly. I'm like, and you look at the used ones and they're like $60K and you're like, oh.
No, they weren't $60K.
They were a lot cheaper.
They were definitely significantly cheaper. Mark Finley's on. Hey,
What's
Mark.
Up, Mark? Haven't seen you on these in a while. Glad to have you.
Yay, Mark Finley. And hey, Blaine. Blaine's on too. Oh my
What's
gosh,
up,
you guys
Blaine?
both said something. And my mom's on. Okay, wait.
Ruth.
What are we missing? What as we're like dreaming about this expensive RV. Which someday Derek and I are going to be like, we just bought it. I'm sorry.
Not anytime soon.
We both, no. But we both loved it.
Pretty sure my financial planner would be like, what were you thinking? Okay, so people are liking our Dover video. That's cool.
Thanks. And I saw Darian gave it a shout out, and I really appreciate that. So yes, if you guys haven't already seen it, we posted a new travel vlog 2 days ago about our full day exploring Dover. We went to Dover Castle and saw the White Cliffs of Dover. It was filmed on October 6th, so we're not there now.
She did not eat the fish heads.
Yes, and
Spoiler
you have
alert.
to watch Derek and me navigate local seafood.
And fail.
And in an embarrassingly awful way.
It wasn't that. I wasn't like, ah! It wasn't like all over me or anything. But yeah, it was not great.
We had to ask our waitress, first of all, like how to do it. Which that happened off camera.
I'm convinced they didn't give me the tools necessary to like.
Yeah, they didn't give us. Okay, so
there's no like.
Spoiler alert: they gave us langoustines, and they, in the U.S. at least, like if you get a lobster, you get a lobster fork that'll help you, but they didn't. give us a lobster fork.
Yeah, all I had was like full-size fork, and I was like, I feel like there should be a much easier way of doing this. Like, I feel like it should come with like scissors.
Yeah,
like little scissors, like would have made that so much easier.
There were no tools. Yeah. But if you haven't watched the Dover video, it's a good one. We also gave our room tour that we teased in the last travel vlog video. So it's a long one, but it's a long one, but good one.
Yeah, we liked it. We really enjoyed Dover. So
I'm working on the next one right now. I believe it's going to be our trip to Portchester Castle and Winchester that we did in one day. So
all the Chestas.
The Chestas.
Okay, what else do we got? Okay, so now we're down to Lose, which is about car nav and the GPS and stuff. So that's very cool and very helpful, and we will talk about that here in a second. But let's make sure. So Marilyn Dillon says that we would love Memphis. I guarantee we would. Traveling Granny. Oh, wonderful. Just what I need. Long road trip. Very cool. Travel Best Destinations. Hello.
Hi, guys. Sorry that we missed saying hi to you before.
Hey.
Welcome.
And Troy Stansel is telling us to let him know when we're going to Memphis because he can give us ideas.
Great. We probably won't be stopping too much on this road trip, but hopefully we'll be able to get back there even later this year or something.
Yep. And Eric B. has letting us know that we should definitely do some shorts on the road trip. It's such a beautiful thing to see.
Okay, so Derek and I have been talking about shorts because that's what everybody's doing on YouTube and we're behind the times. And so Derek puts out shorts,
Reels.
aka Reels, on Instagram all the time.
I put one out today.
Yeah, he put one out this morning. So
I'm going to start trying to repurpose some.
Yeah. Because we have so much great content like that. So much. And so I think Derek's actually going, because
hundreds of
as many of you guys
videos.
know, I'm kind of the one that does a lot of the legwork with video creation and
vlog editing
and upload. I kind of do everything on the channel. Derek helps in the filming process a lot, and then sits here. He created a list today. Bravo! This is the first time. But
it's not the first time.
Maybe the second. I don't know. I love you. But he has not done his own videos as much, really. So we would love to have a little series of shorts from Derek. I think. Let us know if you hate Derek's shorts.
It's mainly going to be cargo pants.
Like cargo shorts.
Maybe some khakis.
Lols. Yeah, so I think that'll be really fun to see some of Derek's reels on YouTube as well.
Yep. Okay, so Purdue says 4 trips of a few hours or so. Thinking about driving 2 cars for safety in case one breaks down. You're not stranded.
Interesting. Wait, sorry, where's
Purdue?
Up here. Okay, cool.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. We typically only have the 1 car, so we can't really drive 2. But yeah.
Yeah, if you have multiple people too, that can be kind of nice. To give everybody a little bit more space.
Yeah.
And I know that our sister-in-law's parents have driven separately to go visit them and stuff too, so that way there's a little bit more optionality of if while you're at a destination you can one person can run out and do one thing, one person can do another.
Well, and you see that a lot with RVs and things of that nature where they do tow things like a car or a Jeep or something like that behind the RV, so that once you park the RV, you don't want to then drive around to the store. So then you have your car to make errands and go do things, sightsee and whatnot. Especially if you're gonna park it and leave it for a week or so as you explore an area. So
yeah,
that's a pretty common thing that I see.
I mean, you almost have to if you have a very large RV, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I mean, just to go to the store to top up on your necessities, you'd be driving that big guy around. Yeah, that's important.
All right, so Ronnie Dove says music or a full-blown concert CD is always a must when driving.
Nice.
That'd be cool. Do a full concert. That'd be kind of nice.
That would be really fun.
Yeah. All right.
We've never done that before. Oh, and then also the tire. Did you mention the tire compressor that
Eric B just bought a tire compressor, so that's a cool idea too. So maybe we'll have to look into that.
Yeah, you guys are basically adding to our budget right now. Of all these things that we have to get for our car. Thank you.
All right, so Mark Finley says, even if Monument Valley is officially closed because of COVID, it's still amazing to drive through the area on the highway.
Yes.
You don't have to go into the park.
I agree with you, and I did
we
that.
should do that.
I want to say with my family, I want to say it was like, I think it was 2008.
Do we go through Monument Valley on this trip?
We are going to Utah, southern Utah, but we're going to be closer to the west side than the east side, which is where Monument Valley is, but it's close enough that we could do like a weekend to Monument Valley.
Doing it!
If it's safe and open and everything.
Mark,
like
we're doing it. I'm doing it. Okay, so, what is next?
I just want to piggyback on what Mark's saying. He said also the Navajo Nation has these shutdown weekends where nothing is open, not even gas stations, so be careful and plan ahead. So that's super helpful for you to let us know. And we initially were looking at like driving that longer highway stretch across New Mexico, but
we're not there yet. That's on the list. I made a list, guys.
I'm going to stop talking and let Derek talk about his list.
Is getting way ahead of herself here.
I apologize. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so after you plan your trip and figure out your route, whatever stops you want to do along the way as well. Part of that is going to be making sure that you have navigation. As Lou was talking about earlier, it's good to have something that's also offline, whether that's like a Garmin, TomTom, something of that nature, or have downloaded your Maps.me in advance so that, if you're in a cell reception, you can still find your way, back. Usually not a lot of roads, so it's probably hard to get lost there. You just kind of keep going. But yeah, no, that can be really important. And number 2, which is really only important today.
Hang on. I'm worried. Guys, are we buffering again?
We're buffering. Let's see. Are we buffering? It's struggling, guys. It's getting there. Can't tell if we can be heard or not.
Hold on. Let me...
Here, we might be good.
Okay.
We might be back.
Might have just been your connection.
Okay.
Because you're on a different Wi-Fi, right?
I'm not on Wi-Fi.
Oh, wait. Sometimes it's saying... So there's this like little thing that gives us like red, yellow, green in the streaming service, and it's literally like a strobe light right now between colors. I don't know what is happening. Anyway.
Okay, cool.
Just go on. What were you saying?
The next thing was going to be about researching travel restrictions, which is really only important right now during like COVID stuff. So the big thing there is New Mexico for us was going to be an issue because New Mexico specifically has restrictions in place so that if you come into the state from any other state, you have to do a 14-day quarantine. I think it's 14 days. So for us, we didn't want to drive the route that would take us through kind of Albuquerque and Santa Fe and whatnot, even though we really want to visit both those places because we want to make sure that we are being very mindful and respectful to local rules, regulations, etc. So instead, what we're going to be doing is going down through Texas. So we only had to do that little chunk of New Mexico on the way to Arizona. And this also comes into play for planning the stops that you plan to do because you need. Mark was saying, are places open on weekends? Are they only open on weekdays? There's a number of things in, like, for instance, Las Vegas that aren't open on weekdays. They're only open on the weekends. So, little things like that, making sure that you're planning in advance and doing a road trip today is not like it used to be. So do that legwork in advance.
Totally. Traveling Granny asks, would you mind sharing which computer you use when editing for your YouTube channel? Think in advance. So I have a MacBook Pro and I use Final Cut Pro when doing all of the videos that aren't live streams. And then Lori Sim says, be sure to pack some extra travel size car blankets in case it gets cold and you break down. Very good point. We have a car blanket that like plugs into the car, but I guess if it's broken down
For heat and
yeah,
stuff
for heat.
too.
But if it's broken down, that's not gonna work.
But it's still a blanket.
Yeah, I guess it just becomes like a normal blanket.
It's kind of like my view on escalators. They break down, they become stairs. Still very useful.
But I love blankets. I'm one of those people that like I love having the blanket on me when I'm watching TV or something like that. So maybe I'll end up packing an extra blanket because we're already gonna pack our pillows just to have the comforts of home like that with us since we're taking a car. And just having a nice little blanket could be kind of fun too.
Yep. I can see that we're struggling a little bit, but hopefully you guys can still hear us throughout all that. Okay, so Ruth is saying you might want to check to be sure you have the very best masks.
We
given
do.
that the UK virus is supposed to be... the UK
Sure.
virus I think is already here. But yeah, no, we're we have good masks.
Yeah, and we're
So.
not really planning on like interacting with anyone. But I know that, there's going to be times when we probably have to stop at a rest stop and...
I've been planning my whole life for when being antisocial would be cool. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm joking.
We're
but no,
not.
it'll be good. So Lou is saying, I recall that in southern Utah there was a huge dog town, aka Best Friends Animal Sanctuary, which is pretty amazing. 33,000 acres. Not sure if it's open for tours now.
Okay, so that would be a wonderful stop for us to do if that's open because I love dogs. That would be so fun.
Lori Sims says that the UK virus is here in over 20 states, and I have been double masking.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Perfect.
Marilyn Dillon says, blankets, pillows, water, snacks are all good ideas in the winter or on long trips. I totally agree. Kim M says, what do you pack on a road trip that you don't when you fly? I love being able to bring more shoes. That's a great question.
That's a good point. And like heavier shoes too. Like
hiking boots.
I'm so excited to be able to bring like hiking boots without having to sacrifice, a ton of other things because oh my gosh, whenever you put hiking boots, even if you wear them on the plane, they're
First
kind of
that
obnoxious.
sucks. That's not a
like
good
you
thing.
just kind of it's like they're just big shoes, right? Big shoes, small seat, and then like if you put them in your suitcase, even if you have a checked bag, they're just again big shoes, small bag. So it's just like
that's a new hashtag. Hashtag big shoes, small bag.
So it's kind of a pain to travel with hiking boots, which, that's half the reason why we didn't do that when we went to the UK, and we bought our hiking shoes there.
Yep.
So
we'll probably bring our big, sturdy hiking boots.
Yeah, we both have like
Keens.
Keen high top hiking boots.
Yeah.
And so the ones that you see us wearing like literally every single travel vlog video in the UK, we might
those
bring
are our
those
Merrills.
too.
I will definitely be bringing those with as well. But we have the space to bring like giant shoes, so let's bring them.
Yeah. Oh, fun fact. So just so silly, but you know how like Derek and I have the exact same Merrill shoes? We don't have the exact same Keen boots, but we did buy them on the same day too.
Mixing it up a bit. Yeah, we
Clearly,
went to REI together.
Yeah, we both during these hiking shoe purchasing experiences have both needed shoes at the exact same time.
Yeah. But we plan to do a lot of hiking when we're in the UK, or not in the UK. We did plan to do a lot of hiking in the UK. No, we plan to do a bunch of hiking in Utah, and my family out there has actually been great, and they've sent us a ton of like recommendations for hikes and
full page recommendations,
resources and all this kind of stuff for us to plan around. So we're pretty excited for all that stuff, and that's the whole reason we're going out there.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we have the right equipment. There's a couple things that we might need to look into buying while we're there, like hiking sticks. Those.
Oh yeah, we don't have those.
We don't have those, so we'll probably have to buy some of that kind of stuff to take with us. And those are the types of things that if we were flying to a place and planning to do a ton of hiking, like the Dolomites or something, we'd probably actually buy them once we got there because they would take up a lot of space in luggage. But we would probably buy while we're here and then take with us instead.
But Mary Ellen says blankets, pillows, water, snacks are all good in winter or long trips. Absolutely. So I think we're good on all of those. And then
Eric B says he brings cooking equipment like my flat iron or air fryer because you can cook and save in the hotel.
Yeah, and even in an Airbnb, sometimes it's nice to, if there's like a few things that you really, really like, in case they don't have it, you can bring those too. We have a bin here in Indiana of like just a handful of our kitchen things that we really like. So I'll probably go through that bin and see like should we consider bringing this, that sort of thing.
You know what we can bring this time that we didn't bring last time? Spices. So she doesn't go on a spice buying bin.
Yes, no, but that's actually kind of true, and I know that like lols, I bought way too many spices in the UK. Guilty. But it's true. Like, you know, those things, those little things that make cooking even in a hotel room just so much more enjoyable.
Because that's the thing is that the place in Tucson is gonna obviously have like kitchen and all that kind of stuff, so we can cook at home. We can grill out. We can do a bunch of stuff while we're there. Same thing in Utah. We'll obviously be cooking a lot of food at home, so having those spices on hand so we don't have to go buy them is going to be pretty nice. You know, another thing on a road trip is that you can pack, you know, your meals for the road as well if you bring a cooler, which is the next thing on my list, is to procure a cooler for snacks, you know, like lunch meats and stuff like that, mayo.
So whether it's coming out of your basement, dusting it off from summertime, you're borrowing it from somebody, or you're buying a new one, you want to get a cooler.
A good cooler. I would say, you know, for us, we'll probably do a pretty big, like hard-sided one. That way we can keep things for like sandwiches and whatnot in it. And cold drinks and things like that. But also then having something for the hot stuff. So I've been eyeing, there's a giant thermos actually that is in my parents' closet. And I'm like, we could make soup.
Your parents are going to be like, where's that thermos?
So it's like that old school giant thermos. I'm like, yeah, we could bring soup with us. That's kind of fun. So yeah, having something like that, having, you know, obviously our coffee tumblers, because we are coffee fiends. We love drinking coffee.
Derek just guzzles coffee on road trips.
Yeah, I can't drive and not have a cup of coffee, so this is going to be fun.
He guzzles it, you guys. Like, it's frightening. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, yeah, so procure a cooler and coffee tumblers. That's the next thing. And then the last thing, before we get back to some of these good questions,
thanks for all the questions.
notes,
we're getting to them.
is figure out what you're going to listen to and make sure you're downloading that stuff in advance. For us, that means audiobooks on Audible. Again, Audible, if you're listening, sponsor.
Or on whatever your local library app is.
Yes, yeah, that's another good point.
I've done a ton and not spent all the money that Derek spent on books.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Derek just likes this one genre that's not very common at libraries.
Yeah, they don't really carry them in the libraries. So they're like indie authors. So like for me, I'm supporting independent authors who don't have big publishing houses behind them, and they're self-publishing and all this stuff. So for me, I like that. I feel like I'm supporting the little guy. So. Yeah. Now, my money's going to Audible. That's not the little guy. That is the definition of like the biggest guy.
Yeah,
but you know, independent authors.
We love you, Audible.
Yeah. So that.
And we also
Spotify.
Spotify's great. I use
Netflix.
Spotify Premium for two reasons. One is I can have access to all of the music and stuff, all my playlists offline. So even if we're like in a place that doesn't have service or something like that, we can still access all of the music that I have saved on Spotify. Then on top of that, it's nice because with my Spotify Premium, I get access to Hulu. It's just part of the whole package. So whenever we're at a hotel or something like that, and if we need to catch up on our shows, like This Is
stories.
Us, yeah, then we can watch those on Hulu.
Yep. So those were kind of what I had for like the stuff to prep for a trip. You know, this doesn't include like, you know, packing and making packing lists and
Yeah,
stuff. Like,
and you guys have
which is obviously
added
huge.
a ton of great stuff for us to think about bringing, which
Yes.
is kind of a separate list, I would say, than like just the actions that you need to do to prepare for the trip. So, but it's been super helpful, and you guys have all mentioned things that we hadn't even thought about yet. So I just want to answer Travel Best Destinations question real quick because I know several people join later. So Derek and I are preparing to go on a pretty long road trip. At the beginning-ish of February. We're driving from the Cincinnati area to Utah with a stop in Tucson in between. And we're driving pretty straight through from Cincinnati to Tucson. We have chosen, just for pandemic reasons, for personal reasons, to not make a lot of stops in between and try to get there quickly.
Yep. Well, plus so once we get to Tucson, we have a place that we'll be at for many, many days. So we don't need to take like a big break in between. We're just going to do like big long haul, like 10-hour days, and just really focus on getting there before, then having quite a while to kind of like relax, unpack, chill in the hot tub, all that good stuff. So.
And then we'll be in Utah for a month. And do a few of the local like hiking opportunities and stuff within that area. Hopefully even including the Grand Canyon. That's a big fingers crossed element for me.
But yeah, I mean, I've never done like Lake Mead in Nevada and a bunch of other stuff like that is a really close drive and a quick jaunt from where we'll be staying. So the plan is to really do a ton of like day trips and things like that. Hopefully record a lot of good travel vlog type stuff for you guys that we get to put out there, and also continue to edit the stuff that we still have to get out from the UK too. So
so we're really looking forward to this trip. After so that's going to take us into mid-March time frame, and then at that point we would either continue, out west or start making our way back east. So, we don't have the answer to that yet and probably wouldn't make that choice until we're already in Utah. So you guys are going to find out on these live streams that we're going to be doing, along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know if maybe, at that point we would be coming back, or, if California is open, going into California, or kind of what we would do.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Like, it's so hard to tell 2 months from now what we would be doing.
Go down
and
to
I'm sure
Texas.
all of you guys can relate to that.
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot. There's a lot of options at that point.
Well, I mean, hopefully there's a lot of options. There's a lot of things we would love to do, but as those of you know who have followed us for so long, I mean, we make choices based on the data about the pandemic, and like it's a safety first thing.
Yep.
So.
And as you guys saw in our travels to the UK, we are pretty flexible, and we like being able to pivot, and we're very willing to pivot as needed. So if for whatever reason we had to flee Utah, which I don't know why we would, we would do that.
Bye,
and
Lori.
that's kind of what
Have
we do.
Have a great weekend.
Bye, Lori. I'm glad that you could spend some time with us. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing with the road trip. I mean, it's going to be a big drive out there. It'll be a giant drive back as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll hit a couple national parks along the way, Mount Zion and others. We'll definitely be cautious about filming in parks, but we will be making sure that we're out being safe and doing this in the most responsible way possible, because we think it's important to put those types of actions out there and make sure others who might think about traveling are thinking through how they do it and whatnot as well.
Totally. Eric says definitely bring snacks and a mini fridge. I'm assuming it's like if you can. The cooler, I guess, is kind of going to act as our mini fridge in the car for that long.
Yep.
But so Derek's Derek's been great, and he's on the keto diet, but that does limit what we can eat on the road and stuff like that.
Jerky.
Right.
Just
jerky, you can eat beef jerky,
and pork rinds.
Pork rinds, yeah.
Oh, it's going to be great.
All the really cool stuff. But yeah, so we definitely like to have, at least a cooler that we can have food that both of us can eat, since I'm lactose intolerant too. I have to be careful. So.
Yep. Klaus actually has a great space-saving method, which is for the coolers, you can put juice into plastic bottles, put them in the freezer, and then use those as cooling elements. It saves space.
Oh, like turn them into ice sort of thing? Oh, cool.
You can do that with water too. Just, empty out some of the water, freeze them, and then as they melt, you have a water bottle.
Yeah, that's a really smart
It won't
idea.
be a full water bottle, but you'll have water.
We should have thought about that when we were in the UK, because we kept running into issues where our ice would like just melt all over the cool bag. And if you had said that to us, we would have just bought a case of waters and done that instead.
Yeah, that would have been.
Because oh my gosh, our cool bag would be like soaking wet. Yeah.
Soaking wet. Yeah. That's a great idea. I like that. I like that a lot actually. But yeah, no. So we've got a number of things that we're going to be doing over the next little bit. We've got to go take the car in probably next weekend for the oil, or maybe this week probably actually, to try to avoid some of the crowds for the oil change and all that good stuff. We'll probably take it to a place to have it kind of professionally cleaned on the inside because it hasn't been done in a long time. And
I
just don't trust myself.
I got it detailed, I think, a year ago.
Yeah, so it's starting to have there's a smell.
Is there? Developed. Oh, what did you do?
Didn't do it.
Travel Best Destinations agrees with you. They have to have their coffee while driving.
Eric B says, "Got to go to Buc-ee's when we're in Texas. Load up on that jerky."
Oh my gosh!
And beaver nuggets. I don't know what those are, but I still want them.
I watched a Buc-ee's video on two amazing channels, Mark's and Jocelyn's. They both have a Buc-ee's video on their channels, and so now I feel very convinced that we have to stop there.
Yeah, we might need to think about if there's a way to, what we should do? We should figure out if there's a way to get like a hot water heater thing. Do you think we'd be able to do that in our car? Because there is a plug, right?
There is a plug in our car.
There's a plug in our car, so we could probably actually use our whatever it's called, electric kettle.
Fancy.
To make boiling water to make like French press coffee or something.
That's intense. Wow. Yeah. That would save a lot of money.
That's something we don't take on trips. Electric kettles.
Yeah, we could do it. We could start a
French
cool new
press.
trend of making French press along the side of the road in Texas.
People do it. Actually, so
do
if
they?
you guys,
I was hoping we'd be the first.
if you guys haven't followed these guys, there's a channel called Visit With Us.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they did a really cool road trip that they just put out their first video on, which was the NC 500 video that just launched last week.
Which is the road trip across northern Scotland that Derek and I did last year too.
So they did it a little bit different than us. They went up, did that part, and then went down to Cornwall. We started in Cornwall and then worked our way up to Scotland. So kind of the opposite directions. But they did some cool stuff where they had in their car, they had like a little propane stove thing so they could make hot water and like make tea and coffee and stuff, and they would make those on the side of the road with like these awesome views, and that was super cool. So I might be stealing that idea for our trip.
Yeah. Oh, we missed this before. Before Lori left, she said you might want to bring some coated gloves when hiking in case of a small fall. They will protect your hands. Also, they would protect our hands from a very cold steering wheel if we use them while driving. So that's smart. I just have like leather gloves, and I feel like that would be terrible to use while hiking.
Don't use those on a hike.
Those would tear up right away.
Yeah. And they're not cheap, so you don't want to do that.
Yeah. I might need to get some new gloves.
Yeah, there's a few things like that.
Gosh, I better start writing stuff down.
I mean, I'm probably not going to go with the Bernie mittens, but which are great. But
they're
so
so cute.
I need my fingers.
So cute, little Fair Isle mittens.
If anybody is not caught on to the Bernie memes,
I'm sure they all know.
They're phenomenal. And if you haven't yet, go over to Holderness Family. What's their channel called?
The Holderness Family.
The Holderness Family, and they have a really good, like, parody song of, these are a few of my favorite memes, like from Sound of Music, but then it's just memes of Bernie, and it is phenomenal.
It's really funny, yeah.
I don't care what side of the aisle you're on politically, it's just funny stuff.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend it. So Eric Brown says that little narrow road in the video looked like an incredible ride. I would love that sitting in the passenger seat especially. She did not love sitting in the passenger seat in Dover.
Well, okay, so this was only our second day having the car in the UK, and so I certainly was not used to just the whole driving and riding in a car experience yet. But man, that one road that you guys watched with us going down a very steep hill. Basically, we were like descending the cliff in order to get to the beach. And it was a two-way road. And
it's a single track road.
Single track, yeah.
Yeah, single track road. It's like a switchback. So it winds quite a bit because you're going from up on the cliffs driving down to the beach, which is down below. So there's quite a bit of an elevation change that happens, and I drove that road twice. I did it once in the morning for the sunrise photography that I was doing that we talked about in the video, and then a second time with Eliz. And the first time was easy because there's like nobody on the road, so I really didn't have to worry that much about oncoming traffic. And the second time we did have to deal with some oncoming traffic, and that's the big thing about driving in the UK. When you're on these single track roads, is that you might get to a point where you had to back up.
Yeah.
And backing up a hill and around a curve kind of sucks.
Oh yeah, that was terrible. I mean, you guys all got to see that. That road in particular did not have passing places, which most of them do if they have a single track road.
But they had driveways.
Yes, because there were a lot of homes along the way. So it was still, I had to speed up that footage, and if you watch it closely, you'll notice that it is quite sped up. We were going extremely slowly down that hill and back up, which we didn't have on film.
Her initial speed up was hilarious because I was watching it, and all of a sudden when that big van comes up and like goes around us, it went from like kind of slow to like super fast, and I was like, "Holy crap, he's gonna hit us!" Because all of a sudden it's like the van just like whips up the hill, and I'm like, "You need to slow that down because that looks scary."
Yeah, especially because I at that point hadn't gotten rid of all of the background audio, so like the revved engine of that van was just extremely loud and jarring too.
It seemed very aggressive, and it wasn't in the time. So I was like, that needs to be slowed down.
Yeah, thank God I had my feedback from him.
But
it's quite intimidating. But it was so worth it too. Like, we wouldn't ever say don't go to one of those beautiful spots just because of the journey up or down or along the way.
I mean, that's another example though of why driving when you go places can be so rewarding. I view our time in the UK as just one massive 3-month road trip, basically. Well, a massive 2-month road trip because we were under not house arrest, but like
quarantine.
We were under quarantine for the first month. But
first 2 weeks, and then we were.
Oh yeah, we stayed there. Yeah, okay, fine. 2.5 month long road trip through the UK, and it really does help because you can go to places that you just wouldn't be able to get to otherwise. Going to St. Margaret's Beach, St. Margaret's Bay, or whatever, you can't get there unless you're driving. I guess you could take a taxi, but that might get expensive.
Yeah, and it might be a challenge to get to call the taxi once you need to leave too, and everything.
No, but we do know that some people do that. So, you don't have to drive yourself if you don't have a car or a driver's license, or if there's medical reasons why you can't drive. But having some sort of transit like that in a car can be super helpful. Same thing in Scotland, where there's places like the Ferry Glen on the Isle of Skye that doesn't have access, at least currently, to buses, or at least they're not supposed to. You have to drive a car, and so it's a lot easier to get up there, and there's definitely roads that like campers and stuff can't go on the NC 500 and different things like that. So we really recommend getting cars when you can.
Yeah, and to kind of pivot that to a relatable comparison in the U.S. is there's several instances within national parks and stuff too. If you're on road trips in the U.S. or wherever you're from, where something is just a little bit more remote, but it's absolutely worth going to. You just kind of have to, secure a vehicle and trust that everything's going to be safe as long as you make sure that you're driving safely and stuff. For example, last January, when Derek and I were in Las Vegas, I took a trip by myself in our car to Red Rock Canyon, and I was in like a white sedan. Okay, this was not, an like a sporty vehicle. And just to get off on one of the spots at Red Rock Canyon that I really wanted to see, it was a gravel road and stuff, and like all of the other vehicles there were either like SUVs or like a Subaru, and so I drove, I want to say it was like 2 miles an hour, like so slow down this road into the parking lot, just to make sure that like the sedan was going to be okay, nothing was going to like kick up into the underbelly or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have been able to do that canyon without having rented a car, and I absolutely loved it, but had to drive safe.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of that stuff. Like I actually wasn't able to go to Red Rock Canyon, so I'd love to go this time.
Yeah, probably
when we're going through. And luckily, the drive from Phoenix up to St. George, Utah is going to be pretty short. It's not going to be that big of a drive. It's still a drive, but it's not a giant drive. So we might have an opportunity to stop off and do something like that on our way up, which would be cool.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
We'll see. We're still planning out lots of elements, and you guys will be kept informed as we know what's final.
Yep. Try to keep you in the loop.
So if you
It'll
guys
be on our Instagram at the very least.
So if you guys have other suggestions about things that we absolutely should not forget to bring with us, you have had really great ideas, with the pillows and the blankets, the gloves for hiking. Yep. Oh my gosh, I would not have thought about that.
Yeah, pillows is another one of those things that we definitely take on road trips and we wouldn't take with us otherwise. Having our own pillows when we go places, if you can swing it, if you have the space, 100%. Because that's one thing where you're like, sometimes the pillow situation in Airbnbs can be pretty bad.
Yeah, and if we're gonna be in that Airbnb for a month,
I want my squishy pillow.
That's gonna be a top priority.
Kim M comes in over the top with some Tupperware or baggies for leftovers. Love that.
Yes.
We actually had some in the UK.
Yes. I brought 2 little containers of Tupperware to the UK.
And then we bought more.
We did buy more. Yeah. So we traveled with 5 things of Tupperware. Oh my gosh, it came in handy.
Yeah. It was really needed.
Yeah. What are you doing?
you gotta comment.
I know. I keep getting comments on that video. There's this one video on this channel that has really started getting very active this week.
It's the British versus American food differences from our 14 days of quarantine.
Yeah.
And a lot of British people like to comment on it right now about how shrimps are not prawns.
Shrimp. And it doesn't have an S on the end.
Shrimpy dimps. I don't know. And that...
No. It's okay. They're all correct.
No, it's correct. We misspoke on a few things, but... Gotta guess.
Yeah. Is that what they said? Is it another one?
Yeah, shrimps. It says that shrimps do exist in the UK, but they are smaller than prawns, and people don't really eat them there.
Oh, well, there you go. And I bet they didn't realize that their comment was going to be read out loud on our current live stream. You probably shouldn't do that.
But thank you, Helen. I appreciate it. No, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, no, thank you. And thanks.
Shout out.
Thanks to everybody who's commented on the Dover video as well. That has been really, really great to hear everybody's feedback on that. Sorry, Derek. Derek has my phone right now, and it's...
My bad. I was wondering why I got that alert.
Yeah.
It's not my phone.
Not your phone.
All right, so... So one thing that we didn't talk about before is if you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up so people know that it is a cool place to hang out.
Yeah, it's a great... So, yeah. Thanks for, if you already have, giving this video a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. And also for anybody who did comment on the Dover vlog, anyone who liked it, that was really, really appreciated. Between us, it has been our top performing video as of late. So we've been really, really thrilled with all of the positive feedback from the community and the people who have found the video. So thank you to all of you guys for that. Just the comments and the likes and the subscriptions are not only an awesome way to support like free travel content on YouTube, but it's just a great way to support this channel, support this community. We really really like love talking to you guys by way of our videos and our live streams and stuff, and the comment section, because we feel like we learn so much from each other. You know, Derek and I have a wealth of experience traveling, but so do you guys. And so we're not going to sit here and preach like that we know everything because we have learned so much from everything you guys have said too.
Yep. And Bonnie, welcome, Vega Bonnie. Thank you for joining us. Good morning and good to see you. Hope Canada's not too cold right now.
Yeah.
But she says, I never go anywhere without bull clips. I don't know what a bull clip is, but I assume you can use it to close bags.
It's like what we call binder clips.
So many uses, including hanging stuff to dry.
Yeah.
And closing bags.
Yeah. Totally.
Actually, that's great, especially if you're like chippy type people, like eating chips and
binder
crisps
clips
or whatever.
Great.
You know, you want to keep those closed on a road trip so they don't end up everywhere.
Absolutely. And carabiner hooks are another kind of like, you know, like quiet helper to bring along.
Yep.
I made a video several months ago about the suction cup clips, or the suction cup
Definitely
clips.
Gonna bring those.
Yeah, that you can bring when you to hang up. You know, it's too, it won't hold like an entire toiletry bag or something like that, but it'll hold your bath loofah, whatever you want to call it.
And actually, that's one thing that, you know, we would take on a road trip that we would never take on like flights is full-sized toiletries. Actually, that's something that we'll be doing, right? We'll be bringing our big thing of Dove body wash and like Head and Shoulders, whatever it is. You know, we'll be bringing like the full-size stuff because, you know, it is on a per quantity basis much more expensive to buy travel, and if you're driving, there's no TSA.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the same with like drinks and everything too. You can definitely, you know, make sure that you're going to stay hydrated, bring the bigger water bottles, that sort of thing.
Giant thermos of soup.
So I hope you guys have
liked our list. Lou Tolman is saying, on your trip back, you might want to consider driving through Notches Trace in Mississippi to Nashville, Tennessee. It's a beautiful, rustful road and very lovely.
We would be delighted to. I was
actually really cool.
Mapping out if we could do that. Also, Derek is, and, you know, his entire family are all huge fans of Hometown, the show on HGTV. And so there's another option of driving through Laurel, Mississippi that everyone in this household got very excited about.
Yeah. I know nothing about Laurel, Mississippi, except for that's where Ben and...
I don't know. I don't watch it.
Okay. Well, it's where they do their stuff, and it's pretty cool. So, I'd stop there. Why not?
What is her name?
Anybody know? Does anybody watch Hometown? Ben and... I can't think of it.
I can picture her. I can't think of her name.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Mary Ellen Dillon says, will your trip back home be a little more relaxed? Maybe a few more stops. Yeah, I think it kind of depends on what we decide to do, right? Because I could see us, you know, making a decision that we want to kind of not really make our way back to the Midwest until springtime more, when it's a little bit warmer. So what we might end up doing is stopping in a place to... you know, we might go to another place for a month or something like that, you know, after St. George. So maybe we go down to Arizona for a month. Maybe we go up down to Texas for a month. Maybe we're decide to head over to Florida. I don't know. You know, there's a lot of different options. So it all depends on where we go after Utah. Because we might end up doing one of those things where we just hop, stay for a month, hop, stay for a month.
Yeah.
So that would be like long stays.
Yes. Cool. So we'll see. It's almost impossible to say right now. But I'm like, oh, it's so far away. And it's like normal times. It's so funny. It's like in normal times, it's like 2 months away, right? And you're like, okay, I could totally make a plan for 2 months from now. But now in 2021, you're like, 2 months from now, anything's possible.
Katie Smith coming into the rescue. Aaron and Ben. There we go. Yes. Cute haircut. Yeah, girl. She has more like the pixie cut kind of thing going, or like shorter.
It's
not
like a
quite
longer,
pixie.
Yeah.
Short.
It's a short haircut. Yeah.
But yeah, no, they're great.
That I could totally not pull off, but she pulls it off.
Mary Ellen Dillon says she's never heard of Hometown. Hometown is an HGTV show where they are in Laurel, Mississippi, which is like small town Mississippi. and they are fixing up homes for people. And so think of it as kind of like, you know, what would you compare it to? Similar to like what Chip and Joanne, the Gaineses, would do.
Yeah.
It's similar, right? Where they have a family, they show them a few houses, they then,
Then they'll fix
update
it
it
up,
and make it nicer. So,
yeah.
cool.
But it does look like a cute town, and it's right off the highway. So
yeah.
we'll see. We'll see if we end up doing that. But that would be on the way home if we go a southerly route. But there's also there's a chance we would go from Utah up to like more like an Idaho or Montana for a month, and make our way back on a northerly route. So, stay tuned.
Yeah, I mean, there's places like in Idaho that I'd love to go to, beyond Boise, obviously, but like there's like some great outdoor activities out there that I think would be really neat to get into, like the woods and the mountains and stuff would be pretty cool.
And Montana,
like Sun Valley
Wyoming
and stuff,
well.
I think is out there and whatnot. So there's a lot to do out there.
Yeah.
But again, California to me would be like the golden ticket. I'd love to get out to California for a bit, but we kind of have to figure out what's going on from a COVID perspective before we would deign to go to California.
So Travel Best Destination says, I suggest to stop by some cool Arizona Route 66 attractions like Kingman Museum and also famous Old Wild Wild West Oatman City.
Very cool.
Yeah, and we are enthralled with the idea of like all the Route 66 things that we could do. But things like museums are unfortunately not something in our current comfort zone for probably at least a couple more months. So what we're thinking about doing is if we do head back a more southerly route, we might hit some of those really cool Route 66 stops in Arizona, but probably not on our way there. There's actually
we might do some. We might do a couple things. Like we might stop for like grab a sandwich from somewhere or something like that. Or if there's an outdoor activity, we might stop at those types of things. But it kind of depends.
But it's something we're super interested in. I love all of the history of Route 66, and I have been along like in Williams, Arizona, and stuff like that, like different parts of that route. And it's so cool to see how much pride the locals have in just all of the kitschy, like old, kind of like 1950s vibe Americana that you can see there.
And honestly, I mean, we've got a lot of friends in like the LA and San Diego area. So, I mean, there is a part of me that, the dream would be to be able to get into California, go see those friends, and then do like the reverse Route 66 back. That would be really cool. All the way to Chicago. That would be pretty neat. To me, that would be the dream. I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're at a place as a country where I'd feel okay with that. But Mo's on.
Hi,
What's
Mo.
up, Mo? How you doing? How's Northern Ireland going?
We're so excited to see you again. How did your washing your car go? I saw you doing that this morning.
I saw that. That was cool.
Mary Ellen says a friend of hers lives in Sandpoint, Idaho. It looks so beautiful. I actually don't know where that is within the state. So I'll look that up after this.
Yeah, Idaho is like one of those states that, to me, I'm like, I know it exists. It's over there, and I know they have more than just potatoes, but, definitely want to get there.
A friend of mine went to Idaho with her husband last winter time, and did some, before COVID, and did a lot of the hot springs and stuff that like there's like hot springs resorts and everything. Oh my gosh, it looked so nice. I was just so impressed. I think that would be really, really cool if there's a way for us to experience that at least someday.
So I don't know. It's a big question mark. If people have other ideas for us, we're always open to ideas and stuff. Whether it stops on the way there or things we should do while we're in southern Utah. We can obviously get out of Utah if we need to. If there's places nearby, like especially in Nevada, that's pretty open. Nevada's a place that we know that we wouldn't be kind of stepping on any local restriction toes.
Speaking of, I think there was a message that we missed earlier. I'd read it and it kind of went back. I think it was from Troy, and he said that he typically brings like camping.
Oh yeah. I remember seeing that.
And I wanted to talk about that, and especially as it relates to like nearby things within Utah, because not everything can be a day trip, right? Especially in wintertime when daylight is a little bit less.
Yeah, so what he said was, I tend to take my camping gear. I've been known to get off the main route and find a campsite for the night, but that's just me.
I think that's awesome.
That's awesome. That's really cool. We don't have camping gear.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would be like all for that. I was actually toying with the idea at one point in time. Like back in the day, we were talking about instead of getting an RV, what if we got one of those like platform pop-up tents for on top of our SUV? We decided not to go that route because actually you can spend a ton of money on those things. But that would have been a really cool thing that I was like, oh man, that'd be a neat like out west thing to do. I was like, if we lived in like Denver, I would totally have one of those.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, right now we're probably not going to do much on the way of camping.
You know, I'm not gonna say we won't do it. We just don't have the gear or the expertise at present.
Guys, let's be honest here. She's a glamping kind of girl.
I would totally prefer glamping. But again, like I've slept in tents before. Like I have camped with friends who knew what they were doing, but I have. And so it's one of those things where if we were able to kind of like secure a tent, maybe in order to go a little bit further as a day trip and turn it into an overnight
Bye,
trip.
Katie.
Bye, Katie. Thanks for joining. Hope to see you Sunday. I mean, not Sunday, Thursday night. But yeah, if we could secure a tent, maybe I would consider trying it out. And if whatever night we were thinking about doing, it wouldn't be like freezing cold.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a question. I mean, I'm more likely to like.
Hi, Brenna.
Go try to rent a yurt over by Dead Horse Point State Park up in the Moab area. Like
lovely.
We saw. Those look really cool. I would totally try to rent one of those. Especially if it made it so you could actually go to Dead Horse Point because you're in the park at that point, so you could go for sunrise.
I'm not arguing that. That'd be cool.
I'm gonna go look into that actually.
It might be out of our budget, but
Tyler Hansen,
hi,
what's
Tyler.
up, Tyler? Brenna, Tyler, what's up?
Thank you so much for saying that again and for the comments on the video. Yeah, you got to watch Derek drive in the UK. It was
scared the heck out of her.
No, well, at first, yeah, like, you know, as a passenger, you still have to kind of get used to it too. You know, it's not just the driver who feels like something's off.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just all of the windy, narrow roads. That was something to scared him too as a viewer. That was just something to experience.
As Brenna says, she's a glamper too.
Yeah.
You guys can glamp together.
I mean, Brenna and I started hiking club when we lived in New York.
That
remember?
is true.
So
it's not hiking club till somebody gets lost.
We might bring. No, it's not hiking club till everybody gets lost.
But they're all together. So
you're lost
okay.
together, and then you have to find your way out of the woods, and that's basically how you summarize Brenna and my hiking club. Anyway, so, and that's all true.
Derek knows the slogan. Yeah, so I mean, I would be up for yurt action. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, that would be really nice. I don't know if they're still doing the yurts like during the pandemic.
Seems pretty socially distanced.
Yeah.
But we'll look into that, see if there's some cool activities like that we can do, because you know we should do something special like that. It's gonna be around your birthday.
That's true.
And she said that she doesn't want to go to Vegas right now, so we'll see.
But we already renewed the license plate. What else would we celebrate with? So for those of you guys who weren't here earlier, we realized that our license plate expires on my birthday. Every year, yeah. So we had to renew it early this year, so that way we wouldn't be, stranded basically with an expired license plate while we're on our road trip.
Yeah. So, what? Trying to think though. For those who joined late.
Mom, I don't even remember that story, but that definitely sounds like me. My mom says when I was younger, they went to a beach on Lake Michigan near Saugatuck, and there were tons of flies on the beach, and I hated it. Yep, that sounds super on point. Yep.
Bug spray, that's another thing. Take bug spray on any trip
yeah,
you do.
We actually maybe need to buy bug spray.
Yep.
Because I don't think we brought any here.
Yep. And you know what? My philosophy on bug spray is get the most powerful one you can find, because those little buggers can suck.
So when Megan
Literally.
lived with us last summer, we went to her parents' house and did a socially distanced outdoor barbecue on their back deck, and they had like a natural bug spray that actually worked really well for me. And oh my gosh, bugs love me.
She's very sweet.
I don't know what it is. If there's a mosquito within 10 miles, it's gonna find me. I got bit in like November in Scotland. So anyway,
Yep.
yeah, I'm gonna need some bug spray.
Yep. But yeah, no, I mean, we're pretty excited about this upcoming trip, though. I think that, you know, getting someplace warm with some hiking capabilities and whatnot is really going to be nice and a good change of pace, since we've kind of been cooped up a little bit over the last couple of months with the holidays and, you know, being with family and whatnot. So it'll be nice to get out and about.
Yeah.
Out and about.
Yeah, exactly. Brenna says, if you think you're too small to make an impact, you haven't spent a night in a room with a mosquito.
That's funny. Are we taking any candles?
Ooh, great question. I probably will, actually. So we have several candles here. I'll probably take one with us.
Not for in the car, but...
No, not for in the car.
But like for hotels and stuff.
Yeah. And the Airbnb and stuff. Sometimes I just like having a candle because it makes me feel relaxed.
Bath salts.
Yeah, I don't take baths as much outside of my own home. Yeah. Like, that's a very...
kind of weirds us out a little bit sometimes.
I mean, I'm sure it's fine.
If it looks really clean, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Actually, for those who watch Turn It Up World, I feel like every time she does a room tour, she talks about bath salts and how she likes bath salts and stuff. So she always, you know, well, if the room comes with bath salts, she asks for extras and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
So they actually just put out today a room tour of the Vdara in Las Vegas, which is actually the place that I was looking at.
Yeah, that's the hotel that we're considering the strongest if we go to Las Vegas, which Derek's really, really trying to wear me down.
I want to go.
Yeah, and I'm like a little bit nervous about just being in any city, really, but Vegas especially.
So I don't know,
like indoor
if
stuff.
you guys have thoughts on this, please, I'd love to hear it. But you know, from my perspective, Las Vegas does seem like a pretty cool place to go right now. They seem to be taking things pretty seriously from a COVID perspective. It sounds like restaurants are only open at like a 25% capacity, which sounds pretty good. And you know, if you can get into
if we went to a restaurant, I would be doing only outdoor seating. And so I know I'm way more careful than other people are, but I'm just being completely honest with everybody. Like the idea of Vegas is still very iffy for me.
Yeah, and luckily there is a lot of like outdoor dining opportunities in a place like Las Vegas. So you know, it's just one of those things that, you know, has an allure to me, because it seems like a place that we could actually go get like maybe a nice meal that's made by somebody else that's not delivery, that I would feel comfortable with. And you know, the Vdara in particular is one of the hotels on the Strip doesn't have a casino, so you don't have to worry about going through a casino.
So there's no casino, and every room has a kitchen.
Yeah, each one has like a little kitchenette, so it's got a sink, it's got a stovetop burner, it's got a microwave. You can actually like make your own food.
Yeah, so that's really the only hotel I would even consider right now for those two reasons. So it was really cool to see that room review just came out. We'll have to watch it.
So Brenna is saying Utah has a ton of private igloos right now.
Igloos?
That's
interesting.
Cool. Hopefully not in the part of Utah we're going to.
Yeah. No, I bet it's kind of like...
more elevation.
Yeah. That would be a really cool place to stay, I'm sure. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that, you know, while we're in Utah, we're definitely going to try to get up to the Moab area a little bit probably while we're there.
That's like 5 hours from where we're going to be.
I know, but we do like a weekend or something. Weekend away.
It basically sounds like you're having us go away from our Airbnb.
Yeah, occasionally. No, but I think like
We'll see.
maybe not a weekend away. Maybe it's more like a Wednesday, Thursday away, so you don't have to like worry about like
Yeah.
weekenders.
We'll have to. Derek and I really haven't planned out. Our Utah time as much yet, but his aunt and uncle just sent us, as we said, a really long list of hikes that are in the area. And there's a lot of other stuff that we want to see too. So we're extremely excited about the opportunity to do a lot more like outdoor stuff within the U.S. because we got so used to doing that when we were in Scotland last autumn, and it was just this awesome way to still feel like we were able to have an adventure but stay safe. And so it would be really, really neat to be able to continue doing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
This spring, this winter into spring.
Yep. Yeah. So we will see. We will see what we end up doing, but we're excited to figure it out with y'all.
Yeah, and Brenna, you're right. Like Moab is stunning.
Yep.
No question about that. If Derek and I had more of the camping equipment and stuff like that, I would be way more likely because there's this really cool campground, Cane Creek Campground. That if you have an RV or camping equipment, you can rent out a little plot and everything like that. And it's just this beautiful area, like 5 minutes outside of Moab. So if that would be really, really neat if we could make that work.
So the yurts in Dead Horse Point State Park are $140 a night, or $120 for off-peak dates, which is November through Feb. So we might be able to get us a discounted yurt.
Discounted yurt. Love it. Eric Brown says, I enjoyed Vegas a couple months ago and would go back in a heartbeat, but I could definitely understand the apprehension. Yeah, that's actually really good feedback to hear. My best friend has done several of her layovers recently in Vegas and has given me some information about her experiences too. And so it sounds like there's just not as many people there right now. So they are in a way making it feel safe for everybody and keep everybody safe who visits. So that's good. I love hearing that. I love that you had a good experience there. So I don't know, between Derek and all of you guys, maybe I'll get worn down. But I mean, it's really not like so much me being apprehensive about Vegas. It's apprehensive about like tons of like those bigger cities and stuff.
Ooh, there's availability for yurts.
Derek's like about to book a yurt for us right now.
I'm so excited.
Oh, man. All right.
I'm going to live in a yurt.
Pump the brakes. Focus.
Sorry, guys.
Focus.
Sorry, I don't know what just happened. I don't know what she was just talking about, but yurts are maybe on the table.
So discounted yurts, check. Igloos, check. Sounds like you can really do anything you want. Mary Ellen says, I've heard great things about Bryce Canyon, too. And neither Derek nor I have been there yet, but we really, really want to go. So that's likely going to happen on this trip.
Yep.
So we're super, super excited.
Yeah, I think that the beauty of this is that we're going to have more time than we've ever had in this part of the country. So it's going to be really nice to be able to actually get out, explore, and do some of the stuff that, we've always wanted to do, but felt like, it took too long to either get to from where we were staying. We just didn't have the time. Bryce Canyon's definitely on that list. And I'm just so excited for, like, the photography opportunities. So I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah. Mary Ellen, I'm not sure who you're talking about Tim. If it's like Tim McGraw or but maybe somebody named Tim is singing live over in Bryce Canyon.
Cool. Yeah. So what else?
Well, I feel like we've answered everybody's questions, but if we accidentally skipped your question or comment, please put it back into the chat because we didn't mean to. We just missed it. And I hope you guys really liked our list of things to do to prepare. We kind of focused it on preparing your vehicle and preparing like the actual trip plan. But of course, there's tons of other things too. Like
especially around packing.
Yeah, or just like getting your home ready to be away for so long. So making sure that you've emptied out all of the recycling and the garbage, and water all your plants, or have somebody figure out who's going to take care of your plants, your pets, everything like that while you're gone.
Yep.
I mean, the list goes on, right? Like throw out anything in your refrigerator that would go bad.
Mail forwarding, stop your mail. I think you can stop it for up to like a month or something like that. So that, things like that I didn't put on the list, but are things that we would typically do.
Yeah, exactly.
And Marilyn Dillon is saying that her friend Tim Gates was in a band Due West, and he's in Bryce Canyon now. He's amazing.
Oh, that's so cool.
Nice. Well, if he's doing any gigs,
we'll have to look into
if it's outdoors, socially distanced.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's really cool. I don't know where Bryce Canyon is even.
It's like maybe 4 hours, kind of like into Utah more from where we're gonna be.
Okay.
So it's not far, but it's also not close. So it'd be like a day trip or an overnight.
Oh, Lou is telling us that spectacular gorge in the final scene of Thelma and Louise is not the Grand Canyon, but Dead Horse Point State Park, 30 miles southwest of Moab, which is my favorite state park in Utah that I've ever been to. It's also the only one I've ever been to, but it is gorgeous. I think it
It was so beautiful.
I would actually rather go there than Canyonlands, and Canyonlands is a national park like right next door. They're both very nice. I'd go to them both, but Dead Horse Point for me.
That one was really striking, and it had fewer visitors than when we went. So we went to that place and Canyonlands in the same day, and Canyonlands had all.
Because really, you should pair them together. They're like right by each other.
Yeah, it makes sense to do it the same day. Yeah. But Canyonlands had so many of the foreign visitors at the time because we were there in 2019, and so those people would stop. At all the national parks, and then at Dead Horse Point, it seemed like it was kind of just the Americans. Yeah. So that was a really interesting thing to notice, is that you can have a little bit more privacy, but it's still just like stunning vistas and stuff.
And what's really, really cool about Dead Horse Point is that there's also like a commercial potash mining operation that happens, and that's when you see these like pools of like very vibrant like blues and greens. That's the potash solutions that they put in to bring up that salt, which is really cool, and can make for some like really stunning pictures and video. So highly recommend it. It's not just about the point, which is really cool, but there's also that farming, that mining operation that's actually pretty to look at.
And Brenna, Mesa Arch, I totally agree. It's so worth going to in Canyonlands.
It's that very long one, right?
Yeah, it's just beautiful. It's iconic. So when we went to Canyonlands in Dead Horse Point,
it was so packed.
I've said this before. Yeah, first of all, it's packed. I've said this before when we talked about it several live streams ago, but like it was 101 degrees outside when we went. Yeah. So we brought a lot of water, but we still ran through it extremely quickly. Yeah. And just naturally, when you go to these places, you have to bring a lot of water regardless of time of year. But, like, that was just, I mean, we drank through so much water. So we weren't really able, I feel like, to stay in Canyonlands that long just because we, like, legitimately ran through, like, our 4 bottles of water by then and needed to get back and start getting back to, like, to Moab in order to get dinner and to get hydrated.
Eric B has a recommendation / I guess he's putting in a request, which is that we go to the Igloo Brewery in Salt Lake. It's literally giant bubbles outside with tables within the bubble. You got to go and let us know about it.
Oh my gosh!
They actually have a ton of those in Chicago right now as well. A ton of the bars and stuff have those like bubble igloos set up, so that people can still go with a small group. I mean, honestly, that's about as good as you're going to get from a social distance thing, because like you're in like your own little space,
right?
As long as you trust the people with you, because like obviously then you're also like, inside with everybody. But yeah, no, that'd be really cool.
It would be really cool. I don't know if we're gonna make it to
Salt Lake's a long drive from where we'll be.
Yeah, my best friend's gonna
opposite
come out
side.
and visit us because she has access to rapid testing through her work in the airlines. So barring that, making sure that as long as she's healthy, she's planning to come to us, which is like 4.5 hours drive.
Oh, it's only 4.5 hours.
It might be 5. I can't remember. It's still like it's long enough that we probably wouldn't make it up to Salt Lake unless when we leave in March we head north.
Yeah, and that's actually something that I wouldn't mind doing is maybe going up to Salt Lake after we're done and get a place for like a few days up there.
Yeah, absolutely. We love it up there so much. Yeah. So, I guess I really like Salt Lake has Mountain West Cider Brewery too. I don't know if they have igloos, but they do have good apple cider, hard apple cider. So that's my little tidbit.
It's the only kind of cider we drink.
Yeah.
Ronnie Dove says the road trip to Missouri in March is canceled because the base that my brother is at isn't allowing visitors from out of state due to COVID. Kind of bummed out right now. Oh, I'm sorry, Ronnie. That's really that's a huge bummer. And sorry that you're not gonna be able to see your brother. Hopefully you guys can still do virtual chats and stuff and hang out that way. But I know you were looking forward to that trip. So.
And hopefully they'll start vaccinating our armed forces soon, so that way.
If they haven't already. I'm kind of surprised if they haven't.
Well, that way the base would become more protected and everything like that, and then hopefully that means maybe you'll just have to wait an extra month or two.
Yeah.
But I can see how that would be really disappointing.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to hear that.
Brenda's saying, we bought a big case of water bottles and left them in the trunk when we did Utah in the heat. Never thought of that on a prior trip, and it was incredibly helpful.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yep. So smart. Yeah, we should probably just have like a big case of water bottles in our
even though it's
bag.
not going to be like crazy hot while we're there, it will be dry. So still it's important to keep hydrated no matter what. And Mary Ellen Dillon says Magners is on her shopping list.
Yay!
She needs to restock. You know what I'm missing right now? I'm missing that yummy gold colored cider. Thatcher's Gold.
I haven't had a cider in weeks now, and it hadn't even come up, and now I'm like, can I have a cider yet?
Now you're parched.
Now it's like it's afternoon at least.
It's almost 1 o'clock somewhere. It's past 5 o'clock in the UK.
Oh man, cider sounds really good right now.
Yeah. Crisp and refreshing.
I'll have some coffee instead.
I ran out of coffee a while ago.
But it seems like we've run through our list. You guys have helped us out with our list, which we are so thankful for. And if you want to follow along the rest of the day, we are going to do a little quick trip to, I think it's like 40 minutes away down the river from here to go to a tailor to get
gotta get some pants tailored.
Some pants hemmed for Derek. And so I've been told that this town is really picturesque. So follow along our Instagram stories. We're gonna show you guys what we see.
Yep.
In this town in Indiana today. We have our next live stream next Thursday night. Hopefully you join at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're really excited to talk more probably about the road trip, give you guys more updates, and the Thursday night ones are fun, right? Because that's when Derek and I drink wine instead of coffee. So yeah, hopefully you guys can join then. Thanks so much for watching our Dover vlog this week too. We're aiming on hopefully getting another vlog up next week.
And if you haven't watched it yet, head on over and give it a look-see.
Yeah, give it a thumbs up. Give this video a thumbs up if you haven't too, because we really appreciate it and it tells YouTube that we're fun.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for spending your time with us. We really appreciate it on this Saturday morning, and hope you have a great rest of your weekend.
Yep, have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.